So now we are going to start with one simple example. Okay, so I'm going to create a simple workflow template with a single step. Okay, so this includes different steps involved, means different entities or different SAP objects we need to create for designing a complete workflow template. So we will go to one by one objects and how to create a simple workflow template. So after doing this, you know what are the things we need to learn, that you'll come to know what are the topics we need to know. Okay, so I'm going to start with a simple example. Okay, so before starting, I will tell you the requirement, what I need to do. Okay, so whenever I create a sales order, I want to start a workflow, and the workflow needs to send a work item to the requester, sales order who created the sales order. I'm going to send a work item to his inbox, and where when he click that work item, the sales order needs to be displayed. Okay, it's a simple single step which I'm going to create. Okay, so it's everything audible, right? In this process, the first step is we need to create a business object. Okay, so as I told you yesterday, so there are first of all, a business object is nothing but it is looks like similar to our ABAP class. So it contains attributes, key fields, methods, and events, like how we will have for a class. Even for the business object also, we have attributes, methods, and key fields. So like this, it's also a similar to a class. So SAP has provided a different business objects for each and every process, like sales order and all. So for this, the transaction code to see or to create or to change any business object, the transaction code is SWO1. This is the standard T code SAP has provided to create or to change a business object. So first, let's see any one standard SAP provided business object. Okay, so I'm going to SWO1. If you look at, I have 2012. So this is one of the, if you look at here, if you want to see, I want to search for purchase order related. So you have a different business objects. If you see, look at here, purchase order, purchase requisition. So for each and every process, SAP has provided some predefined business objects. So let's go to purchase order related business object. So here, if I go to display mode, see here we have different options, as I told you, like a key field, attributes, methods, and events. If you look at methods, SAP has provided different methods related to purchase order process. So like, look at get items. This is the one method. If we call this method, it will give you the list of items available in the purchase order. So they provided a release function. This is for what? Whenever a approver approves a PO. Suppose I sent a work item to approver. Once he approved the work item, what in the background its system has to do? It has to release the purchase order. So in the workflow, we will use this method to automatically release the purchase order. Like this, SAP has provided different methods for the standard purpose. Okay, so now we will see, so also we will have different events, created event, released event. So these will be triggered whenever, suppose if I create a purchase order via ME21N. Whenever I create the PO, this standard business object event will be triggered automatically by standard code. Okay, so released. Whenever a PO got released, this event will be triggered. How it will be triggered? This should be handled in the program. That means in ME21N or in the release case ME29N, whenever you are releasing, so these events should be triggered by SAP standard program, because these are the standard events and this needs to be handled by SAP standard program. Okay, so key field. Generally, for any business object, there should be at least one key field. If you take purchase order, the key field, the main object, the main variable we need is purchase document number. So this is the key field for the whole business object. Okay, so now I will go to create a custom business object which I want to use instead of going for the standard. So we'll go one by one. So first I will show you how to create a custom business object, and in the next steps we'll see how to use existing business object. One second. Sorry. Yeah. So in the next steps, what I will do, I no need to, suppose I want to extend this PO related business object. Then I no need to create a complete business object for the purchase order. I want some additional functionality for this PO. What I can do is I can create another business object by extending the existing standard business object. That process we call delegation. Okay, so that thing we will see in the next steps. As a first step, I'm going to create a custom business object. Okay, so for creation also the transaction code is same, BSW01. So now I'm going to create a custom underscore demo 01. I'm going to create demo 01. This is the business object which I'm going to create. So go to create. So here we have a super type. As I told you, this super type is required whenever you want to inherit the existing business object. So in this case, now I'm not going to inherit anything from the existing one. So I'm going to create a new independent one. So I no need to give a super type. Okay, and object type. So object type is the business object which we are going to create. This is of type this one. So internally it will create this type, and the name also we can give the same name. And AWF underscore demo 01, and the description I'm saying sales order process. Okay, so what is the program means? For this business object which we are going to create, for all the methods, system will generate in the backend a program. So for that we need to give the name so that system will create with that name. I will show you how the program looks like. So here I'm also going to give, generally we will follow the same naming conventions, like whatever the object name we are going to give, you can give the same program name. If you want, you can create with a different name, but it's up to you what is the name you want to give. So I'm going to give demo 01. So application is nothing but for which process we want to go and create. So if you go to F4, you can see all our normal SAP applications. As it is a sales, we have to select V. Okay, so please stop me if I'm going little bit fast, or if you have any doubt at any point, you just ask in the middle. You just stop me and you can raise your question. Okay. So I'm going to save under one package. Okay, any test viewer. Okay. So I'm going to create this sales order, and here I didn't created any key fields, okay, any methods, okay, but these are the system generated because object type. So the name I have given as a type as this one, so system will generate one object type reference to the name which I have given. Okay, so these are the predefined ones, but the additional things whatever we want we have to create. Okay, so as a first step what we have to do is I want to create a key field. Okay, so for the sales order, what is the key field? It is VBLN from VBAK. So place the cursor on the key field and create. Okay, so here it is asking, do you want to create with by referring to SAP ABAP dictionary field? Yes, I want to create as a reference because I had to give as a type what type of field it was. So I'm taking a reference of dictionary. So while giving the reference which table I want to select VBAK, and it will show you only the key fields from the table because we're going to create a key field. So select this field and click OK. So it is giving the reference table name and it is giving the name and description. So just click on create. Now if you go here, so system created one key field attribute of type VBAK VBLN. Okay, so till now it's clear, right?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, nothing, just I created a single key field. Yeah, so here there are sequence of steps we need to follow for releasing the business object. I will show you. So for first I have created a key field. Okay, so place the cursor on this key field, go to edit and change release status. This is the thing like we want to go to and release that the type sales document attribute. I want to make it as implemented. So go to edit, go to change release status and go to object type component, and first step we have to do make it as implemented. Okay, so the next step we have to do is we have to do the same step for object type. Edit, change release status, object type, go to implemented. Okay, so now object type status set to implemented. After this one we have to go see, and also here you can see a program. This is the one system is going to generate in the backend. So go to this program and just save it because it's a system generated code. We have to write our code when we are going to develop any methods. That I will show you in the next step. So just save it and come back. So now I am going to release this business object. Change release status, object type. So previously I have done implemented, now I am going to release. Okay, it is saying no default attribute because I have not yet defined any object. So just it's giving an information. It is saying one of the method is not redefined. For us it's not required, so we no need to redefine as of now. Okay, so system status set to released. Now also I need to release this attribute. Again, edit, object type component. Now I'm going to release a key field, so to released. 1 second. Yeah, it's a key field, so it's no need to release this key field. I will show you now. I'm going to create a method. Okay, create. Here it is asking, do you want to create a template with reference to any function module? As of now, I don't want to create with reference to any existing function module. I want to create a fresh function module. So I'll click no. And what is the method name? I'm saying display order display. See, here we have different options. Okay, so these we will see when going in depth. In the current case, I'm going to take it as a dialog method. So these dialog methods are used for foreground processing. If we remove this one, we can use this method for background task. Okay, so this concept will come to see when we go for the task and background task scenarios. As of now, I'm going to show you only a display sales order screen in the foreground. I'm going to take it as a dialog option. And the synchronous option also, in the current case, I'm taking synchronous. If you remove this one, it will come as a asynchronous. And these things we will see in detail when we go for the complex cases. Okay. So in the current case, I'm keeping the options as it is, how it is generated. Okay. So now a new method got created. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to select and I'm going to do the same options like change release status, object component, first model, it's already model. So edit again, go to change release status, object type component to implement it. To released. These are the sequence of steps we need to follow for each and every method or attribute or event which you are going to create. We need to release every component of the business object. Okay, so till now I didn't write any code, just I have created a key field and I created a method and I'm going to create an event because I had to trigger this event to start my workflow. So I'm going to create a simple event, again the same procedure. Select the event, click on create. The event name is created, suppose. Okay, give the same name. Okay, so I created an event. Now the same step to release the component. Object type component to implement it. Again edit object type component to released. So again do it for object level. Now we did at component level. Now I'm going to release at object level. And then at the end, click on generate. So it is saying contains one error. Let's see what is the error. You can see here, go to error list. It is saying the method is not yet implemented because I have not written any code or anything in this method. So it's giving this error. So I will go to, see here, after, if you want to go to any method logic, select the method and go to program. Now it is asking not yet implemented. Do you want to generate a template automatically from the function for the missing section? No, I'll say no. So if we give like this system, if you look at here, it's not generating any code for the method. We have to manually write like method, all the template we have to write. So here we might do some mistake. So what we will do is whenever you come here, you select this option. And now if you see, if you select this one, system will generate a method with some parameters. Look at here now. See, now system generated the method with a changing parameter as container. So just I have redefined the method. Just save it and come back. And also, if suppose I want to pass some parameters to method. Okay. So for this display sales order, I need to know what is the order I want to display, right? So I need to pass an import parameter. What is that import parameter? It is definitely a sales order number. So if I want to give any parameters, select this method and click on parameters, so that I can define a parameters for the method. And also you have see exceptions. I think you are aware of the classes. So it is similar to the classes. It's nothing new. So in the classes methods, there we can define parameters and exceptions. In the same way, SAP has provided parameters and exceptions for the methods. So for the display order, I need a sales order number. So just I'm going to create a parameter for this method. So place the cursor on the method and go to parameters. So now, as of now, there are no parameters and I want to create a new one. So go to create. Yeah. So it is asking, do you want to create with web dictionary proposals? Yes. So in the VBAK, I want only the import parameter as sales document number. Select the order number and click OK. So do you want this one to be an import or export? So definitely it is an import parameter to the method and create. Okay. So come back and save it. And here also I hope I saved it. Save the program also. And now generate the business object. So now business object is generated successfully. See, the problem is if we don't do these release steps properly, we will not get these methods when we are going to create a task. Actually, within the standard task, we will use these methods properly. This will not visible in the while creating a workflow. So that is the reason why these steps for releasing status is mandatory and we need to do properly and it should generate successfully. Okay. So till now I've defined a key field and I have defined a method and I didn't write any code inside this method. Just I have created a single parameter and I have created a created event. Now I'm going now and I'm going to write a simple code inside this display order method. Okay. So now here I want to write a code inside this method. Okay. So I am going to define a simple variable lv underscore vbln type vbak hyphen vbln. So now I define a simple local variable. Now I want to fill this. Now I want to fill this VBLN. So this, where from I will get this? I will get an import parameter in the method. I have defined an import parameter in the display order, right? So I need to get that one. But inside this method, I am getting only a container. Okay. So generally the container means it is a place where the data into this method is passed via this container. Okay. So here we need to write one extra code to read that import parameters. How I need to write this? SWC underscore get underscore and give space, and here we need to pass container as the first parameter, and then we need to provide the attribute name, and the attribute name we have given anything sales document and to LV underscore VDLN. Okay, so I will explain you what this statement will do. So first let me see whether the parameter I given this name or not. So display parameter. Okay, so my parameter name is sales document. So this will come to a container. So inside this program, I have written a single statement to get that import parameter. So this I will show you in the next where this is defined there. Those four are common and we need to use regularly. Second is the attribute which we want to fetch. It is sales document is the attribute from the container we want. So I'm giving this attribute name, and next is into which variable you want this sales document. So I want it into my local variable. So my local variable LV underscore VBLN now contain the sales document number. Okay. How this will pass from the sales document, those will come in the next steps. It will come from workflow. How it will come, we'll see. But now it's a business object is a different entity. I am going to create separately this one. Okay. When we are linking this business object to workflow, then you'll have a clear idea how the data flow from your sales document to workflow, and from workflow to business object it will come. That you will have a clear idea after completely implementing this template. Okay, workflow template. So, but as of now, it's a simple variable. This I am taking as an import parameter from external world. Okay, from the external case, I am getting the sales document. After getting the sales document, so it's our logic what we want to write inside the method. It's normal ABAP statements you can write here. So what I will write, LN is not initial. So ABAP might much aware of this one, how to call a VA01. So what we have to do, call transaction VA03 and skip first screen. So before calling this one, what we have to do, we have to set this VBLN parameter. We go to VA03. So we have to give sales order and click display, because when the user click directly, it should open the sales order. For this, I need to set this sales document parameter ID. So here the parameter ID is AUL. So copy this one. Okay. So here set parameter ID name, AUN, field is Yeah, okay. So now what I'm doing, I set the parameter and directly I'm calling VA03 and I'm skipping the first screen. So directly it will open the second screen onwards from VA03. So just I have defined a simple method and now I'm going to save this one and come back and generate the business object. Okay. So I have done with my business object. Okay. So just I have defined a key field, I have defined a method, and I have defined an event. So this is the first step we need to do whenever you are defining any workflow template or any workflow. After this one, I have to use this display order method. Okay. So before this, I'm going to draw a simple flow chart for my, we're going to develop one. The first step is what? Whenever I create a sales order, workflow needs to be started. Okay, so this workflow, as I told you, will have only one step. Okay, let me open a paint and let me draw a flowchart. See, my first step is workflow needs to be started. Okay, what is my second step? It needs to send work item to a person who want to see. So this is my first step or first task. So here work item needs to be sent to requester. Okay, so after this my workflow will be finished. Okay, so this is my simple workflow template which I am going to do now. Okay, so before going to create my workflow template, I need to know how many steps I have. Okay, so here I have a simple step, that is one task I need to create here. Okay, so before creating workflow template, I need to create the number of tasks which I need in the workflow. So as of now, I'm going to create a single task for displaying a sales order. So for this, I need to create a standard task and then I need to create a workflow template. Okay, please remember this terminology. Okay, so till now we heard about a business object. Okay, it is nothing but like a place where we can define our methods and we can write our code. Okay, then now we are going to second step. It is called standard task. Standard task is nothing but the list of tasks which we want to perform inside the workflow. Those are called standard tasks. Okay, so now after creating the standard task, I need to define my workflow template. Okay, so till now we came to three terminologies: business object, standard task, and workflow template. So we have completed business object. Now I came to second step to create a standard task. Okay, now standard task. The code for this is PFTC. PFTC is the T code where we'll create a standard task and workflow template for all. We will use the same T code, PFTC. TC. I'll show you now. Okay, so now we have done creating the business object, and now we'll go to TF TC. Okay, so this is called a task maintenance transaction. Here we need to give two types. One is what is a task type. If you look at here, we'll have different types of tasks. So now I'm going to create a standard task. So mostly in 90% of cases, we mainly use for standard task and workflow template. These are the main things we will use, but I'll tell you about these other two also, but these will be very rare we will use. Okay, so now in this step, we'll go to create a standard task. Select that standard task and go to create. Okay, so we can give abbreviation. So with this we can identify the actually when we are going to define in a use this task in a template, we need to identify with this abbreviation. I'm going to define as ZWF display. Okay, so this is the name I want to give. So the description name I'm giving sales order display. Okay, see in this standard task we'll have a different tabs. If you look at here, the first tab is basic data. In this basic data, just will give these descriptions, and also if you came down, we have object method. So what is the action this task needs to be performed? So that we are going to define here. What is the action this task needs to do? It needs to do display a sales order. That is the action this is going to perform this task. But that logic where we have defined inside a business object method we have defined. So we are assigning that business object method to this standard task. So we have to provide what is the business object and what is the method that needs to be called for this standard task. Okay, and also we have a description. See, this is a description we can fill, and whenever you send a work item, it will go to the person and he can see the description. Okay. In this case, actually it's not required, because this is required whenever you want to send any information as a work item. So in that case, we need this description, and this we can see later. In the current scenario, just I want to display a sales order whenever user clicks on work item. Okay, so basic data and the description, and then I have a container. As I told you, the container is very important in the workflow. So how we can define a container is like, it is a place holder where we can define attributes. Okay, so here this is the things where we can define attributes like our variables, internal tables, all these things we can define inside this container. Okay, if I define these variables here, these variables are local to this standard task, because I'm defining inside this container, so it is local to only to this task. Please remember this point, because when we create a workflow, there also we have a different container. Okay, so that container is for workflow. So here we have a container. This is a container for this task. Okay, so in this also I need to create parameters, like I need a sales document number. So I'm going to create again See, here we can define any structure or we can refer to any business object or like, but I am going to create a simple variable for sales document. And what is the properties of this one? This would be a import and I am going to define as export. Okay, so anything I can do. So in this case only we are not going to require to export. So in the current scenario, just I want an import, this one as an input. Okay, click. Okay. See. So I created a variable for this is nothing but sales document. And we have see triggering events and terminating events. So we'll discuss about this one later in detail later. Okay. Triggering and terminating events. So I've defined a simple task with one parameter and here I'm going to assign the method. So here what is the object type we have defined?